One of the charities we've worked with for a number of years now is the Growth Homeless Shelter here in Tower Hamlets. And I got the chance last week to catch up with Naomi, who is the leader of the Growth team, to talk about this year, the impact it's had on their residents and also their plans for the autumn term. Hope you enjoy. Hey Naomi, thank you so much for joining us today. For those who don't know Naomi, Naomi is the manager of Growth, a charity that we've been involved with as a church for many years now. And for those watching who don't know much about the Growth Night Shelter, Naomi, why don't you tell us a bit about what you guys do?
Yeah, thanks so much, Joel. Thanks for having me. So Growth has been running for the last 10 years. We provide the winter night shelter to the homeless of Tower Hamlets. So for 7 months of the year, each night of the week, a different church will open up their doors and take 15 guests in and provide them with a hot meal, a listening ear, a warmer bed, and a hot breakfast before the guest moves on the next day. It's a really vital service. But most importantly, they also get a chance to understand and hear about the Christian faith if they so wish, and just experience the love of Christ through the words and the deeds of the volunteers and of the staff.
That's great. And tell us a bit about the housing project you guys are involved with as well.
Yeah, so part of our night shelter is that we do have a resettlement project where an advocate worker will come alongside the guests in the shelter to try and help them move into more permanent accommodation. That permanent accommodation could actually be our own Growth Housing project, which is based in Poplar. That's recently expanded, so we provide affordable housing, allowing people to work. And that's, recently expanded, so we're shortly going to have 17 residents in the housing project, which is amazing.
Amazing, yeah. That's great. And obviously this year has been massively challenging for everyone. What impact did lockdown have specifically on the night shelter, and how did you guys respond to those challenges?
Yeah, it was difficult. I think the night shelter closed about a week after lockdown happened. So we were part of the government's Everyone In scheme, which means that the government moved our guests from the night shelter into hotels. But for that week of lockdown where they were still in the shelter, we had to reduce the number of venues that we were using. We had to reduce the number of volunteers that we were using. We had to, try and implement all of these face masks and everything like that. And also we had to allow the guests to stay in the shelter throughout the daytime. So obviously the staff kind of had to man it. So there was a lot of ping pong played and a lot of pizza ordered during that time. So yeah, it was difficult, but we made it through. And actually, none of our guests had any COVID symptoms when they went into the hotel. So we thank God for the protection.
And I guess looking to the winter ahead as well, with the new restrictions, new tier, with all the uncertainty, it must be really hard to figure out how the shelter can run. Do you know what the shelter will look like as of yet?
Yeah, we don't at the moment, unfortunately, but we are working on it, and we have been. And we've got a meeting with the council and with public health later this week to discuss the operational principles that the government have released, which are used as a guide to help the night shelters open safely. So we'll be working in partnership with those to try and make it happen. We know there's a need for a shelter, and we're determined to meet the need, whatever that looks like, even if it's on a much smaller scale.
For sure. Yeah, we'll definitely be praying for you. And is there anything else specific that you and your team would like us to be praying for?
Yes, of course. Thank you. The fruitful discussions with the council and public health, suitable shelter venue. We would love our fundraising sleep out, which is due to happen in November. We would love that to happen certainly this side of Christmas, if not the November date that we've already hoping for. Funding, as always, funding is always a big one, especially during these COVID times. We would love to be able to recruit a new housing worker to work with a growing number of residents in the housing project. And finally, Joel, of course, we would love salvation to come to the residents and to the guests of the night shelter. So maybe creative ideas of how to evangelize kind of in a COVID safe way. And we would love to see salvation come and the Holy Spirit fall. So do pray for that as well.
Amazing. Well, Naomi, thank you so much for joining us. We really love partnering with you and with Growth. You do such amazing work here in East London, and we are supporting you. We're praying for you as much as we possibly can. So thank you so much, and speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Massive thank you to Naomi and the whole Growth team for everything they are doing in Tower Hamlets to serve our community. And if you are interested in volunteering this term, in your notice board email tomorrow, you can sign up to register your interest. As you heard, we're still figuring out exactly what this will look like over this term, so we'll be in touch with more info. But if you are interested, sign up there, just say, hey, I'm interested, and we'll be in touch soon. But please do continue to pray for Growth and the whole team, that they can find a venue that is just perfect for what they need, so they can help serve their residents as best as possible. And if you'd like more information on their fundraising event, the Big Sleep Out, head to thisisgrowth.org and you can sign up there.